I appreciate the invite, and like I say, I always say it's great to talk about my guys and what they've done. So
Yeah. So when around did you first think about coaching Hart County, and what year did you take the head coaching job?
so man, I was at Central Hart, and I played there, coached
Okay.
there through the early 2000s. I'm a retired firefighter, but I coached there the whole time as a firefighter, and it was one of those things where I knew I was getting close to the end of being to retire from firefighting, and at a young age of 39. So I was blessed, and we knew my wife and I knew I wanted to go to coach. I mean, that's what I'd done, and she was from here, but she didn't want to move back here, and it came open, and the principal was an AD at John Harden before, and so he knew some people that knew me, and he offered to me a couple times. I turned him down, but in 2015 or 2016 when it happened, and long story short, it was one of those things that I turned her down twice, and one day we were driving home, and she said, "Take the job. Let's move back home. I'll move back down there." And it was odd. My mom and dad had moved down here because it's close to, and so it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, in 2016, in May or in June of 2016, I took the job and had no clue what I was doing. Really didn't.
One thing I've learned in my journey is sometimes the best end up just starting and not knowing nothing.
Well, and especially in a place like this, everybody was like, "Why don't you stay home and take the Central job?" And Tim had done a good job of putting his mark on Central Hardin. He came in, and we won a district championship his first year, and then region championship, district championship, region championship second year, and he went to semi-state, and he did a good job, and I kind of wanted to do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to be me. And I knew this was a place when we were talking about it. I mean, it had never been done here. I mean, they've never won here. So I kind of felt like they were going to be patient with me and let me come in and do it my way. How I felt like I could do it. And they have been. And that's a big thing,
So you said you retired when you was 39. So that makes you what? Let me guess. Let me see if I can get, because I'll be 39 in April. 44?
Yep. I'm 45.
I was close.
Yeah, you're close. Close enough. Yep. I'm 45, but I'm still relative. I'm young.
He's very not much older.
But like I said, it was just one of those things where it felt right. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I read the article before you connected in from Jason Frakes. It said something about the first year that you were there, and you said in 2016 you all only had something about like hardly anything, like 15 helmets or something like that.
Yep. So it's funny, when I got here, of course I did my research, and I called the head coach and the reason the head coach that was here, he went like 6-5 the year before that. And when I watched him, I thought, man, they looked good. I mean, they were big, and they weren't really fast, and they were doing some good things. And I thought, man, but I called him, and he said, "Coach, you won't win a game." He said, "You won't win a game." He was going to take a principal job here in the district. They didn't want him to coach, but he said, "You won't win a game." He said, "I'll be surprised if you got enough kids to have a team." You know what I'm saying? I think he ended the season with like 23, and like 17 of those were seniors. And they didn't have like 19, I think it was 18 or 19 helmets when I got here, hanging on the wall. It was just the best thing I could say is my wife said it best, and she graduated from me. She's like, "This is like deliverance." It was just nothing good. So on June 15th, I got the team together, and I knew we had to do something, even though Dead Parade was going to happen in like 10 days or 9 days. And I said, we got to do something. So assistant coach that came with me from Central, we had 11 guys show up. And, I didn't. It was one of those things like, how are you going to do this? I mean, I come from a team of when Mark Perry was with us at Central Hart, he was head coach at Central Hart. We had 115 guys. So even when Tim came and we still toughness, we still had 70 guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand it's a school 2000. I'm sitting there thinking, man, we had 11 kids for the whole week. We had 11 kids, and I wasn't in school. I was actually still at the retirement. I was still at the fire department for my first 2 years here. So I wasn't in school, and I thought, man, I just didn't know. And so anyway, long story short, I got in the gym. I met a guy here, and he said, "Listen, come by the basketball gym, and there's some kids that played football middle school that you can talk." And I did. I went in and I sold. I just sold it to them. And before, when July 15th came, we had 24 guys show up. You know what I'm saying? And I think we played that season was about 24, 20, 23, 24 guys. But I went and sold myself those basketball players, and they ended up being the reason we are where we are. They bought into me, and they were going to be sophomores, and yeah, we were terrible, you know, but they bought into me and what I was preaching, and it led over to all these other guys, you know. So yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, there was 19 helmets. We had to order helmets. Shoulder pads in bad shape. The locker room was awful. Weight room was it didn't look like they'd been in it. Field like a goat ranch. It was just something, man. Everything. The reason they weren't winning is because everything was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that kind of, not to say anything bad about that people that I don't know, but I'm just, my comments going to be just in general that usually if everything's going bad, there's an issue at the top.
And that's the truth. Okay. That's the truth. I mean,
it's anything in life.
In life, and you know what you're saying, and you said it. You said life, and one of the things that I'm big on here, or just in general, is everything we do relates to life. Okay, whether it's sacrifice, it's nothing comes good without sacrifice. I don't care what it is. You're not successful in what you do if you don't sacrifice something. Family time, away from your kid, whatever. You're gonna sacrifice. Yeah. So you're right, and that's a prime example. So when I got here, took the tour, told the principal, no wonder why you can't be good. Look at the field. I mean, why would anybody want to play? You got to give people a reason to want to be part of something. And so, he said, well, it's going to cost X amount of dollars to resprig. And I said, luckily I can do that. I've done it before. So we resprigged the field, and me and a handful of parents and a handful of my assistants tilled it up, killed it up, resprigged it. Did all this in 2 weeks. I was hired on June 11th. June 15th, we started practice, and I had to have the field sprig before June 24th, dead period. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. We did it, and that's kind of just been how it's been here, man. I mean, they've allowed me to be me, and anytime I've said something, they, of course, they saw progress. The admin saw progress. They saw facility progress and all that stuff. But you're right. It started at the top, and we were in a transition of a superintendent at the time, and facilities were just bad, and they're still not great, but we're working on that. You know what I mean?
Now, you said about being yourself. How important is it, do you think, as a coach?
Go ahead, finish up.
How important do you think as a coach is it to allow players to be themselves in the process of building a culture?
100%. Hold on. What's that mean? What we do after what's that mean? 2:30. Okay. All right, sorry, that was my son. I'm in waiting at the class right now. He's stepping in to see what they need to do. But so there's no different than to me. What you're saying is, I live by a motto of treat everybody the same, treat all players the same, but you got to treat some different. Okay, and it's not because they're better or they're worse. It's just because each kid has a different situation. Okay, yeah. Each kid. There's some kids got great families, got lots of money, and there's some kids that don't have a family, and I don't even know why they come to school. And so you kind of but to allow a player to be a player is important. And I've had to tell my basketball coach that 1,000 times. Let them be them, And it's no different than what you said about the admin. I couldn't have done what I've done here if they didn't let me be me. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to let me be me. And what I have found by doing what I do, and this I've been doing it for a long time. And this is my 23rd year of coaching. Okay. So I've been doing it a long time, but what I've realized is even though I am a player's coach and I allow players to be players, they still have conformed to me. You understand what I'm saying? They bought into me, which assumes relates to them, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. Now, since you've been there going on 8 years, correct?
Yep, going on 8 years, yep.
At what point during your tenure did you realize, and everybody there collectively realized, that tide was starting to turn for the positive?
My third year. So my first year we went 3, and we ended up winning 3 games. Ended up beating an Evanston County team that was way better than us and was at that time ranked in 3A. And then we beat Caverna, we beat Todd County Central, which and of course everybody thought, man, this is gonna be good. Nobody expected him to win. He didn't have these guys. And year 2, we had a really good offseason. Kids bought into me. That group of kids I had, they came in and lifted early before basketball season. They lifted at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. So, everything was doing right. And year 2 was a debacle because we had changed everything but our mentality. Okay, I got them to realize that the weight room is important and all this is, but I didn't change the toughness. Okay, I didn't change their mental state of I don't care what it is, but the old saying of, you know, I you can chase winning, but you're not guaranteed to win. We were chasing it in a sense of, yeah, we were checking the boxes, but we weren't. We still weren't there. So year 2 was a debacle. We only won 2 games, and I questioned me. You know, I did, and I know it was only 2 years in, but it was like, man, I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? But I knew we were young. We had a lot of juniors, and we were gonna come back with a lot and have probably 16 seniors the next year. So in 2018. Which was my 3rd season, we went 7-3, and those guys really laid the foundation of, you know, that's the best record school they'd ever had. So my 3rd year, we go and have the best record school ever had, and it's kind of tells you where we were. I mean, we never won a playoff game, and we had never won a hosted a playoff game, and so that's what I think I got buy-in. And the good thing for that was those kids were seniors, and they had young brothers that were in 7th and 8th grade that were having success at the middle school level, but they saw these guys having success as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of, you know, it was the start of, okay, now we can start doing what we want to do. Because you know as well as I do, if I had to come in here with 14 kids and did the toughness part of it, I probably wouldn't have gotten a buy-in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It took a little bit of success. So what happened is they said, oh, those kids worked hard than most than to come through here, and they've been 7-3. So now I, as a staff, I told my guys after that season, we can ramp it up, man. Now it's time we got the buy-in. Now it's time to really let's let loose. Let's focus on the toughness and the mentality toughness, and let's push them till they break. And but in the same point, let's sell us. So 2018 was when I really saw people like, wow, 7 wins, like. We thought, well, we could be 500, but you know, we ended up at 7 wins and played E-Town, who at that time they won our region, played them to like a 7-point game. So 2018 is when we really saw, when everybody else saw, if you believe we can do something. And like I said, we were winning at the middle school level.
Yeah.
But that's happened here before. You know, they've won at the middle school level here before. They've had teams win it, you know, but it was a perfect storm of 2018's team buying into me, believing in me, going through 2 really bad years to have a good year. And, you know, everybody was happy with 7-3. And it actually helped me because when people say, man, that's a heck of a season. No, it wasn't. That's average. To me, that's mediocre. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 7-3 is average. You know, we were 3rd seed in the playoffs, which they'd never been higher than the 4th seed. So it was a good year for these people. But I'm like, man, listen, if you guys will keep buying in and we keep doing the right thing, it'll be better, you know. So that I hope that answers your question.
What do you feel is more important for the players buying to the coach or the coach buying to the players?
Players buy the coach. Players buy the coach. A program has to have a head, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you'll hear, and if you was around me a lot, you'd hear me speak about. You need to be like, I want this to be what I was. I want this to be the player I was. I mean, and I think that's what we've turned into. We've turned into how I played football and what I did and what I believe in. Because, you know, I could have easily came in here and kept the spread and you know, made it frou-frou and made it nice. You come out here and you know what I'm saying? And, you know, play football. Play football by, you know, linemen backpedaling and pass setting, and I didn't believe in that. So when I got here, there was a lot of people that there was a lot of people who were like, man, we're going to we're going to do this, and I didn't falter. I didn't even when we were not good in the second season, I stayed true to who we were, and I had to get them to buy into me. So I don't know, you know, there may be other coaches that say different, but for me, it was buy into me. And I, you know, if you ask that, I'm going to go speak at the Commonwealth Clinic. I'm going to speak on that exact topic. Is, to me, coaching is all about buy-in. Okay.
Yeah,
everybody,
for sure.
I mean, even anybody can coach if the kids are bought in. If you say this, to run through that wall for me, and they say yes, sir, and they go do it for you, it makes it easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So you gotta sell yourself. And I said this before. I've said it 1,000. You got to say, I've sold my soul to the devil a couple of times to prove to the kids, I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to trust me in what we're doing. And you know what? If you look at our football team this year, people are gonna be like, man, you got a heck of a quarterback. You got all these skilled kids running around. And we're talented, but we're not male talented. We're not North Hardin talented. We're talented for a county school. Like, man, why aren't you running fast screens and doing this and doing that? Because these kids that bought in to run the wing T. I mean, I got a kid in Clark Rex Road that is going to go play slot at the next level at 5'9", 160 pounds, but he was probably one of my best blocking wings and ran hard. And, so to me, to buy into the coach. If you can, as a coach, get your kids bought into and seeing the same thing you're doing is no different than having a business and having a business plan and getting everybody underneath you to see the same visions you have. Man, when everybody's on the same vision, it's nice. Yeah. So yes, it's easy to sit there and say, well, you should coach your kids. Well, that's fine. Okay. I do coach to my kids. I do believe that buying to me, but I still coach to my kids. Like, we'll change the defensive front if we're not big up front. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, our goal was to come here, run the ball, work hard in the weight room, be strong, big, physical, and play fundamental football. And that's what we've done. That's why we're where we are, I think.
Now, I also you said something along the lines of playing county football. What did you mean by that statement?
What I just said. Dudley Hilton calls it. What I said, Dudley Hilton calls it county ball. It is what it is. It's taking a bunch of average guys that don't have a lot of speed and doing the right thing. And that county ball means you have to control the clock, right? You have to run the ball. You have to get first downs. You have to play good defense, but you can't play man because you don't have enough talent to play man. So you play zone. You keep everything in front of you. You let people dink and dunk it. When they get in the end zone, you hope they make it. When they get in the red zone, you hope they make a mistake. You used to keep everything in front of you, come up and tackle, be fundamental, block, tackle. That's county ball. And if teams watched us, we would bleed the clock. I mean, you didn't want to give us the ball because if it was 4th and 1, we were going for it. And the odds are in our advantage. You know what I'm saying? They're in high school football, 4th and 2. I would like to know that I would say it's 80%. You're going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you run the ball. Like, if you're in the shotgun, that's not 4th and 2 no more. It's 4th and 7. It's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just not. So getting under center, doing the little things right, carrying your fakes out, and just blocking and tackling and being strong and being physical and physical is a key. And I believe that in this day and age, county ball can win because physicality is kind of gone away in a lot of areas. You know what I mean? And I take pride in and I hate to be I'm here talking to you, but the KSR bar, the guy came down here and watched our Glasgow game, and he made a comment in his tweet was Hart County. I've been to a lot of football games this year, and Hart County is the most physical football team that I've watched all year long.
You talking about the young kid Daniel?
No, the older guy.
Troy.
Who?
Troy.
No, he played football at UK.
Freddie
Maggard. Yeah, there you go, Freddie. It was Freddie. He came down here and he made that post, and I take pride in that. I mean, that meant more to me than saying, "Hey, listen, you got to."
Shows you the progress.
Yeah, he said, "Listen, I'm getting everything out of my kids, which I think you have to do. You have to be able to do as a coach, okay, especially in a county thing." You there? You there?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, go ahead. You were talking about Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie came down here and he made a post. He said, "Listen, they're getting the most other kids, and it's the hardest hitting football team I've seen, most physical football team I've seen all year long." And to me, that was a perfect example of who we are. I got kids that if you walked in here and looked at them, you'd be like, "There's no way, coach." But I promise you, they will run through that wall for you. They're just they're mean. They're like buzzsaws, man. They're just mean kids. So
definitely. So what's your thoughts on the overall season? Obviously, I know it's good, but like what I'm trying to say, let me rephrase that. Do you think this season, as great as it was for you, will help y'all for the future?
Absolutely. And as I sit here and talk to you, Chuck Smith and all those guys, I've done podcasts with those guys, and rightfully so. I mean, I would think they would ask me this: can you sustain it? Yes, we can. Okay, I can. I not just me, because my staff is bought into me. I mean, matter of fact, I've had plenty of schools call and one. I mean, when you see the success we've had here the last 3 years, and to know where Hart County, if you really truly know Hart County, everybody's like, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody wants a piece of that. So I've had plenty of people calling and reaching out, and my coaches, 3 of my coaches, I coach, I'll go wherever you go. So they're bought into me. So when I say we can sustain it, we're gonna have some years where we're down. I mean, it's the way it is. I mean, that's called county ball. I mean, when you're good, you better be good. And when you're down, just how far are you down? And that's I'm kind of seeing if we're going to have some lean years in a couple of years. We've had a couple small classes come through and not a lot of talent in it, and they got some big kids. But I'm anxious to see how far we fall. Like, is it going to be a 5-5 season? That's a good, that's a good down year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's average, okay. And that's what I'm anxious to see. Can we squeak out 5 wins? But to talk about the success that we've had, I said this. This program's been here. This is the 53rd year of football, and we didn't win a playoff game to year 52. So to think about that, man, that's where I'm at. Is we are a small rural community that play like schools, okay, for the most part, and for 52 years, and they've sent kids. They won college kids here. They've had it. I mean, Joey Stockton. I don't know if you know who Joey Stockton is. Joey Stockton.
I know the name.
Joey Stockton from Hart County, probably one of the best athletes I've ever seen. I watched Joey Stockton at the 200 meter hurdles in the state championship when he was at North Hardin, fall over the first hurdle, wipe himself off, get up and set a state record. He came from Hart County. Okay, so to say that, no, there's been teams here, they just haven't believed, had the mentality that this team has, or that we have right now. They don't have the grit and the fight, and it's the will not to win. I mean, not to lose. I mean, we don't. We were down 2 touchdowns in 2 games this year, 3 games this year, and won. They believe that they're just going to win, and that's the mentality. So, 52 years of football, haven't won a playoff game. 2020, if COVID hadn't hit, we'd have done it sooner. COVID hurt us, and I said this: programs sustain COVID. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't a program when COVID hit. We were trying to build a program, but it set us back a little bit. And so 2021, we went 6-5. And you could see, man, we were turning the corner. Glasgow was only beating us by 2 touchdowns. Taylor County was only beating us by a touchdown. We were just close in games. And so last year, we got over the hump. We kicked the door down, and we beat Glasgow, and we beat Taylor County. And we should have won the district, but we went out there and laid an egg against Casey County. And not taking anything away from them, they beat us. So we host a home playoff game, and we win it. So we win our first playoff game. We host the first playoff game. We go down, travel down the road to Union County and get beat by 14 points. Was actually ahead in the first half. And so knew we were bringing everybody back. I mean, we lost 4 seniors that year, so knew it was going to be good. But the key to it all was how good were we going to be and how would we handle everything? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was my fear. Honest to goodness is, okay, I've been part of it before. It's hard. And I say this all the time. The reason that Beechwoods and Pike Bulls and those guys are always there is because they're conditioned to be there. And it's mentally tough, man. It's a grueling season to go from July 15th to December 2nd, 3rd, 4th is a long time. I mean, there's probably not another sport played over that amount of time. Okay. And to do that in the physicality and everything that goes to it it's hard to do that. And so it's mental. It's not. And I say that, when I was at Central Hardin our first year there, Tim came in. I mean, when Tim's first year there, he came in and said, we went 10-0. We went 10-0, won our first district championship, beat Meade County for the first time ever. In our first time in 15 years. But we won our first district championship in 2014 at Central Hardin. Go into the playoffs, get ready to play Meade County again, who we beat for the district title. And it was snow on the ground, and it was cold on a Wednesday practice. And I looked at one of my coaches and said, they're okay with how far they've gotten. They're tired. They're done. And guess what? We got clocked by Meade County. Flip the script, bring back a lot of kids, pretty much the whole team. go the next year, win the district, go win the region title. It's hard to do because if you ain't never done it and ain't never done it before you, it's mentally you don't know how to do it. So that was my fear going into. Nobody's done it. So how do we not fall short? So we came with the motto of 1-0. 1-0. Every day is 1-0. If we approach Monday as we're going to win Monday, and Tuesday we're going to win Tuesday, we're going to win Wednesday, win Thursday, we'll win on Friday. And every week we broke the huddle as 1-0, and eventually 1-0 would equal 10-0, and then 10-0 would equal 13-0, and then till we got beat, it was 1-0. The very last breakdown we had before we played Bell County was 1-0. It wasn't let's win a state semifinal or beat Bell. It was 1-0, and so we instilled that, and that I think that kind of helped our kids get in the process. Now, to talk about the season, when I made the schedule, we saw the district. Man, everybody said, "What are you doing, Coach?" I mean, we could have very easily been 6-4. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how tough it was. I mean, you play a Spencer County team that just came off of what they came off the year before opening game of the season. I mean, they're a program. We're not. We go down 2 touchdowns against them and come out and end up beating them by 2 touchdowns. And we didn't play well the first half, and we were better than they were. We played an E-Town team. Yeah, they didn't have a great year, but it's still E-Town. I mean, you know what? That's the first time we've ever beat E-Town, and we played them a lot. First time we ever beat them. You talk about an E-Town team. You talk about Greene County. Greene County is a big rival for us. We don't beat them in a lot of things, and we beat a Greene County team. LaRue, LaRue has been. I think it's been 9 years since we beat LaRue County. So there was a lot of things on that schedule you look at that think, man, you got in our district, you got Franklin Simpson, who, heck, they're state champions, not far removed from being state champions.
Right.
You got Pasco, who's bullied us around for 30 years. So when you look at it, you got Candlesville sitting there who heck, they had a heck of a year too. When you're looking at it, you're thinking, man, our goal was to win the district and win the region. That was our goal, and it was going to be hard. And every week, man, we just went 1-0. And even when it looked like against Glasgow, the first time we played them in the district, when we had 32 seconds left and they gave us the ball in the 50, they believed. Hey, my quarterback came to me and said, "Coach, they gave me too much time." And this is a kid that you got to understand had thrown for 250 yards the whole season going to Glasgow. You know what I'm saying? And he said, "They gave me too much time," and they did. So that's where I realized that, man, we got something special. Is no matter what. Yeah, we beat E-Town 50. It was 50-27, but it was 50-8 at one time. You know what I'm saying? I let my JV play and they didn't. So I knew we were good. I didn't know how good, but after the Glasgow game, I knew we were going to be okay. I did. I really did. I knew we were going to be fine. We went down to after the Glasgow game, went to Franklin Simpson, and in the first half, we drop a punt in the end zone, let them score a touchdown. We give an interception with maybe a minute to go in the half and let them go down and kick a field goal. And we go down 10-7. But we came out second half and dominated the game. And pretty much from that second half of Franklin Simpson, we played about as good as football as you could have played until we fumbled the ball against Bell County. And that's the best way to put it.
Who impressed you the most this year?
Oh, as far as players, and I got a dude in Jackson Shoulders. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a dude. When I look at it, we got kids coming. We're gonna have 19 seniors next year. We're gonna be good up front. We'll be okay up front. We got good speed. I can't replace him. He played tight end for me and inside linebacker. And look, man, when he went, we went. And that's the same way with the basketball. He's just a dude. I don't know how to play. And it's sad because he's not really being recruited. Best football player I've coached in 23 years. And I've coached some D1 kids. I mean, I played with Frank Moreau and Dave McCann. Frank was a big running back at Louisville. They played on the same team I did. He's a dude. I mean, when I say that, he's a dude. He's just not being looked at. He didn't camp well, but he made us go. I mean, when we needed a play, he made a play. When we had to start throwing the ball, we threw it to him. I mean, I had other guys. I mean, Clark Ricks Road's a very good, talented young man. Jordan Bradley, talented young man. Hunter Monroe moved in from us from Owensboro Catholic. Is a very talented kid, works hard. He is a true example of it doesn't take talent, it takes work. Because every rep is perfect. He runs hard. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold standing in the middle of Alaska, but he can run the ball and he did everything right. Would block. I can name a lot of kids, but if you want me to say the kid that the one guy we couldn't lose, and that was Jackson Shoulders. He was a dude.
All right, I got a couple more questions before we end this conversation. I know you're a busy man.
No, you're good. I'm fine.
Let's see how I can word this. Make sure I word it correctly. You ever have any regrets as a head coach?
I do.
At least you're honest. Hey, I got you to be somebody to be honest. A lot of people won't admit that.
No, I mean, listen, everything's a process, but I wish I hadn't sold myself to the devil, like I said earlier in my career here. I think we could have got here faster. And I'm going to use this. I kicked probably one of the most talented kids off that, and if you guys saw him, he looked like a Greek god. I mean, he looked like a Greek god. I mean, he just worked hard in the weight room. I kicked him off right before the Glasgow game. Like literally the Thursday before the Glasgow game, I kicked him off because he wasn't buying in, right? He wasn't buying in. He was late to practice. He had skipped to practice. I kicked him off. And so I showed up to Glasgow. One of the guys that I know at Glasgow, he saw me and he said, "Coach, where's 23 at?" I said, I kicked him off. He looked at me like, "What?" I said, "No, man, he just ain't part of it." And you know what? We won't even know he's gone. Yes, he can run fast and he's big and strong, but we won't know he's gone. And what I mean by that is if I had taken that motto year 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it wouldn't have taken me it wouldn't have taken me as long to do what we're doing right now. Because what I'm going to tell you is if you're afraid to lose, which I was afraid to lose when I got here. I thought I had to win. I thought I had to win right now. If you're afraid to lose, you're never going to win. And because if you let them hold you hostage, they got you. If you think that kid is too good that you can't let leave because you can't win. I've never seen one kid dictate, other than I just said about Jackson Shoulders. I've never seen one kid dictate win or losses. Does that make sense?
All right, for sure.
What I've learned is if they're not bought in, they don't need to be there anyway. And I say that. I even in year 2, I had to kick some kids off. And if they had stayed with me, we still would have only won one more game that year. We were 1-6 when I kicked them off, and we won one game after that. It wouldn't have mattered. So when I realized that you can't be afraid to lose, and it took me too long. It took me too long to realize that, which in turn delayed our progress here. That I do regret that. I regret that, I'm sure there's other small regrets I have going down through there, but that's one that I regret.
Stands out, yeah.
Yeah, that's on me. I mean, that was just a personality trait. I came in here and was naive enough to think that, there's been 49 years of football or 8 years of football, and I'm going to be the change in 1 year. No, that's naive. It's what that is. It's a culture. You have to change the culture before you do that. So what I did is I worried about winning instead of worried about the culture. And once I changed the culture and the mentality, winning happened. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. All right, like I said, 2 more questions.
Yep, you're good.
Do you feel you learn more from a loss more than you do from a win?
Absolutely. Had a wrestling referee tell my son this the other day. He's a pretty good little wrestler, and but he loses, okay, because he's not technically. But he said you learn more from a loss, and you have to learn more from a loss. I don't care what you do. Losing's okay as long as you learn from it, and that's the truth. Okay,
yes.
But you got to learn from it. And as a wrestling, and I'm not trying to, but as a wrestler, he said, when I lost, it drove me crazy to go find out how I got beat. And that's the same thing here. When you lose, it's no different than football. When you lose, go figure out why you got beat. Okay, go let that drive you to be better at what you do. If I showed up every day and we're perfect every year, what's driving me to be better? Okay. Loss is okay as long as you learn from it. If you take a loss and you blame it on everything else and you don't learn from it, if you don't learn from the mistakes that you made, the play call you made in a certain situation, or putting little Timmy in a bad spot, or if you don't learn from it, then you're never going to win, because you have to lose to win. I promise you that. Show me a coach that hasn't lost to become a winner. And I preach that to everybody. You have to lose. It's okay to lose. Just learn from it.
Last question, and then after the last question, I'm going to let you leave some parting words.
Okay.
Let me see how I can word this again. I need to make sure I word things correctly.
You're good.
All right. at what point in your coaching career was your most prideful moment for yourself? Now, I know a lot of times coaches, focus on making other people prideful of them, but like at the end of the day, you're also in this for yourself, and you can be in it for yourself and not be a selfish person, if that makes sense. What point in your coaching career was your most prideful for yourself?
The year we were 7-3. We worked our tails off, and it showed us that it showed me that what I believe in and how to do things can be done, and I give pride in that, and I give pride in Freddie Maggard saying what he said. That made me smile. I mean, no offense, but that inside as the head coach of this organization made me say, "Hey, that's what we're about." You know what I'm saying? And I take pride in that, and I take pride that there's other schools out there that want what we have, and think that I'm the reason that they have to. Like I'm the only. Like I take pride in. They see what we've done, and they want me to come there to do what we've done here. Does that make sense? I take pride in that. If you talk to my people, and I'm not bragging on this, I don't look at that kind of stuff. Like I don't want accolades. I don't want awards. And you're right. I do coach for me because it makes me happy because I enjoy it. But I honestly goodness can say I coach because I love helping young men young adults become men. Okay. I truly believe that. I do enjoy doing it. There's more to coaching than X's and O's. And that's I'm in a good place where we can pray and we can do things like that. And we've gotten, I got a guy in church who's staff as a pastor. We've gotten kids in church. We've been baptized. We've got kids. I've had kids come back 2 years later and just say, thank you. Thank you. And all I have to do is say thank you because I know what they mean, because the accountability that we hold them here is the reason why they go from a family of nothing to why am I in that school to now they have 3 kids, hold a steady job in a factory, and they're successful young men in our society. And that truly is why I do it. That's why I was a firefighter, man. I was a firefighter because I enjoyed helping people. And the people don't realize this as a firefighter. And anytime that alarm goes off, somebody's having a bad day, right? Yep. And so we're there to make it better. And that's why when I told you earlier in the thing is treat every player the same, but you have to treat some equal. And it's hard for some people to understand that, because on this side I have a kid whose family is very wealthy. He knows when he goes home there's food on the table. He's got a bed to sleep in. And then I have another kid over here who, he acts out because he doesn't have a dad and his mom's strung out on drugs, and the house he lives in with 14 people doesn't have drywall in it. You know what I'm saying? So so that's and that's what we do is, so I take pride in that kid going and being successful in society, and he is, right. And he's working. And this is one example. I can go down the road of what has happened here since we've been here, and I take pride in that. But I also take pride in who I am, and that's one of the things that you asked about. Is one of the things I say, and I have a lot of sayings, but the one thing I had to get through here is be proud of who you are, be proud of where you come from, and be proud of what you're doing. And the fact that they bought into that, and the communities bought into that, and it makes me have pride that they believe in me. And that's what I can say is they believe in me. And that's why we're able to do what we were to do. Before this football season started, with all the talent we had, I had a kid that ran for 1,500 yards last year, carried the ball 152 times. He carried the ball 71 times this year, only ran for 700 yards. Mom and daddy could have been mad. You know what I'm saying? We had a kid move in from Owensboro Catholic that he had to split reps with. Never once heard a bad thing. Matter of fact, he excelled more on defense. Never came to the sideline. He wasn't selfish. He sacrificed, and he had pride in what he was doing and who he was doing and what he was doing it for. He had pride in the name on the front of his jersey. And it wasn't his name. It was our community's name. And so I take pride in all that.
All right, last question. Mm-hmm. Why should folks believe in Hart County football?
I think I just said it to you. Because we are what we are.
The last part you did. We are. Yeah. We are. We're going to take pride in what we're wearing, and we take pride in what we do, and that's everything you do. Listen, if you've been following us, you've been seeing it, and people have been seeing it. Okay, and I know you're up in Louisville, correct? You're in Louisville, right? Yeah. So it's hard for me to kind of see.
Yeah, so I know you guys don't follow us and do things like that, and that's fine. I mean, you got a lot of good football through there, but what we've done, what's happened here, it is almost fairy book. I mean, it's something that, and I make jokes. They don't make basketball movies and baseball movies. They make football movies. I mean, it's there's nothing better than it. But what I can tell you is this: keep watching. Okay, can we be 10-0 every year? No, man. There's not a lot of there's a lot of good programs out there that have never been 10-0 in regular season. Will we be 13-1 again? Probably not. Will we be back at the regions at the state semifinals? Yes, we will. We will. I can assure you that we will. If I'm the head coach here, and because what I know is this: we lost 10 really good seniors that are the winningest guys ever come through Hart County. And last Wednesday, when we opened the weight room door, the mentality in our weight room was probably better than it was last year. The work ethic was harder than it was last year. And we take pride in that. One thing we pride ourselves in is our weight room is hard. It's harder than a wrestling practice. When you leave there, you can't stand up in our weight room because the sweat, the humidity. I mean, it's hard. Like I had a coach come down in the summertime. It's 94 degrees outside. We don't have air conditioning in our weight room. It's probably 104 in our weight room. And then you put 35 kids in our weight room, right? This is before practice. And you do the things we did. We walked out. This guy's been at E-Town his whole life. And he said, we're going to practice now. And we wouldn't have the best practice we could ever have. It's toughness. And we're tough. And our kids are tough. And Rick Wood, and you don't know, you may not know who Rick Wood is. He coaches Glasgow and Warren Central. And he told me last night.
I know the name.
Yeah, he said, Coach, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're calling me because I know people are calling you and wanting to know if you're going to jump here, go here. He said, but what I can tell you right now is what you've built there at Hart County. It doesn't happen everywhere. He said, I've coached kids that don't want to be that tough. I've coached kids that don't believe in what you're doing because it's too hard. It's hard. Now, if that ever changes, then it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to get out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that everybody has an expiration date. And the day the kids don't come in here and they don't work harder in the weight room, because the weight room's got to be harder than anything we do. That room has to be harder than anything. It has to be harder than practice. Has to be harder than Friday night. Has to be harder than a Monday. The weight room has to be harder than anything we do. And the day that quits being a priority is the day that you'll see Coach Griffin step down. You know, so believe in us. We're a bunch of guys. We're a bunch of kids that probably go if you disbanded the team and you put a kid at Bowling Green, you put a kid at North Hardin, and you put a kid at Glasgow. One kid may not play it in the play, but when we come together and the family bond that we built, you know, people don't realize this neither. Tell me a lot of places when I stand up after we beat Union County for the region finals, and everybody's on the field, and I stand up and say, hey, Thanksgiving's not at your house this year. Thanksgiving's at the school. And we had 450 people show up for Thanksgiving at the school.
That's awesome.
They were all related to our kids. But what I mean by that is everybody gave up and sacrificed their family time to do family Thanksgiving with our football team.
Well, they knew how important it was.
Well, but they also are bought into what we're doing, and that's part of it. That, I mean, you if you've listened to people talk, you listen to Freddie talk, like our stands, our fans are amazing. I mean, it's something you see. It's small town football, man. It's everything shuts down for a Friday night, and you can't find a place to sit on the track. Okay, that's why you should keep following us, because it's not going to change. Listen, I'll be naive, and I'd be a liar if I said we're going to have years where we're going to go backwards. It's just the way county ball is. It's if you have a county by the end of your ninth name, unless you're Bowl County, it doesn't. And I'm not being mean. Justin Haddix is one of my dudes. Okay.
No, I know what you're saying. I get what you mean.
They found a way to do it, right? Okay, but at little old Hart County High School, we're still trying to get turf, and we're trying to do it's like Dudley says. He'll always say, "This little old Bell County. We're just little old Bell County." Our Coach Matney would say about Johnson Central, you know, we're mountain boys. We're tough. Well, we grow up on a river here, and we're tough, and we're going to take pride in that. And what you're going to see, even if we lose, you're not going to see a team quit. And in high school football, that means a lot, you know.
Coach, I want to thank you for your time. Good luck to you all in the upcoming season. Look forward to chatting with you again soon, sir.
Hey, Corey, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, anytime I can talk about what we're doing here, I appreciate the time, and I'm glad we got together. All right? Thanks,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir. Take care.